Okay, guys, welcome back. I have a question that I'm going to answer, and is specific. I've done these before, but this kind of response I'm now going to reserve to a new site that I've signed up with called Minnect. And you can download it from the app stores. And what it is that you can get on this app and ask experts in different areas, whether it's business, finance, you know, life coaching, home and appliance repair and things of that nature, okay, all across the board. You can ask them questions and you can get a response through video, through text, or through a phone recording, okay? And one way or the other, that person will get back to you a lot more of a reliant response than you can if you just like DM them or put them, a question on YouTube or Instagram or something like that, because you're paying for the answer, and that person now is obligated to now answer that question for you. So this is an example of how I would respond to some of your personalized questions, and you can always go right to that site, and that's a way to help support what we're doing. So tune in to this next one. All right. So this is the question. This is from Randy Tucker, and one of the videos we were talking about the Bissell, what do you call that? How's this? We were talking about the gasket and what's happening with the tanks spewing water out, and how to diagnose it and how to come to a solution, okay? And he says his problem is that the solution, the moment he pressed the trigger, the solution is actually just kind of gushing out, and there's no stop until he's shampooing. So I'm assuming then that he stopped pulling the trigger and the water is still coming out. It's like, man, I only squeezed it for a little bit, right? So this is what I think is happening. There's two to three possibilities. Because I'm responding to this right away, I'm trying to get to it as soon as I saw the question. I wanted to make a video for it. I'm going to use props to try to explain it, but I think I'm good enough at explaining my solutions that I probably don't need the machine right in front of me, okay? I have a few different props that I'm going to use, all right? So, solution one is, of course, you're going to check your tank. You want to make sure that this button here, this release valve here, this is like a dam, right? There are two dams in your system. You have this dam here. That means when you put water in this, nothing is coming out unless you release it. You have to press up, okay? Or when you sit it on the machine, there's something that protrudes out of the machine that triggers this. Now it's triggered, the water is being released. But when the water is released, it goes to another dam. Okay, that's called a reservoir. Okay, or in Bissell's term, they call it the auto receiver. Okay, now this here is a Hoover, but this kind of gives me, this is one of my props. Okay, so let's say the Hoover tank sits on this. You see this little knob right here? This is now sticking up into the Hoover clean water tank, and it's telling it to release the water. Now that it releases the water settles inside the dam until it's ready to be released. This little area right here, okay? Then when you press your trigger, okay? Let me show you what happens when you press the trigger. When you press the trigger has a rod in it that's connected to your trigger, okay? And if you look at it, I'm gonna put my finger here, and the moment I press the trigger, this rod is gonna move. Watch it move my finger. You see that? Okay, so now what that rod is doing is pushing down on the reservoir, or it's pushing down on the auto receiver, and it's telling it, release the water, okay? And what I think is happening with you, Randy, is that the water, either the rod is stuck like this, or the auto receiver is stuck like this. Now, if the auto receiver was the problem in the beginning, I think what will happen is the moment you put the tank on, it would just flush out. It wouldn't need the trigger, okay? It wouldn't need the trigger, all right? It could also be with Bissell. On their auto receiver, there's a spring. It's spring loaded at the bottom in a lot of the Bissells. So when you press it, it might the spring might just, it compresses and it stays there because of maybe rust, some kind of corrosion. So it keeps it from releasing itself again. Okay, and it's stuck in the on position. So one of these things are happening with you, Randy. Okay, it's either this is stuck in on. So sometimes you may have to go in the handle, all right, screws here and there here. These handles can, you know, and see what's happening with the rod, or you have to look underneath and see what's happening with that auto receiver. The one way you can try is to take your handle off your upright situation, right? Now, and some of these new ones, you could just turn it on and on. Some of them you have to screw them in, okay? But take your handle off, get like a long pencil of sorts, push down on the area that interacts with this, that whatever that hole is, that's where your reservoir auto receiver is. Push down on it and allow it to release the water. That means you're gonna leave your tank on, you're gonna turn your machine on, you're gonna act as a trigger. So you're gonna use that rod and act as a trigger. Push down on it, see the water release it, and see if the water continues to spray. If the water continues to spray, then you just eliminated the handle as a problem, okay? But if the water stops when you remove your rod, then this guy is stuck in the on position. You see how that works? Okay, so that's a way you could diagnose it real quick, and you can find your solution real quick and see what the problem is. And if it turns out to be the handle, then it could be a trigger. So I want you to notice that if you press your trigger and you let go, if it stays stuck here instead of snapping back, that could be it. Or something is going on with the connection and the rod is staying in the on position. All right, one of these solutions is it. I doubt it's this, because if you put the water, if this is the problem and you put water in this, it'll just spew out, okay? And even if the water is spewing out, the reservoir on your machine should hold it at bay. The worst case scenario, if this water doesn't stop spewing out, let's say, then it might spill over maybe, you know, you'll see leaks coming from the top of the machine. You wouldn't see the leak flushing out at the bottom of the machine. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't ramble on too much for you. but replay the video again and see if it solves your problem, if you can at least find out which one of these things is causing the problem, all right? Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. And again, don't forget, if you want specialized detailed responses like this, and most likely because of the nature of the app, I would have the right problem. If it's a video, I would have the right machine for you. I wouldn't just, you know, kind of, but hopefully this was a good solution. Hopefully it made its way to your mind and you were able to kind of get it. All right. Until next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.